In the early hours of June 7, 2021, the affluent community of South Carolina's Lowcountry was rocked by the brutal slaying of 22-year-old Paul Murdaugh.
Is he moving at all, your son? I know you said that she was shot, but what about your son?
They're not, neither one of them's moving.
A scion of one of the state's most prominent families. The incident sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community, leaving many with unanswered questions about what happened to the young man whose life was cut short senselessly and violently.
Sources tell media that Maggie was killed with some type of automatic rifle, like an AR-15 of some sort, and Paul was killed with a shotgun, and they were both shot multiple times.
In this video, we delve deep into Paul Murdaugh's life story and try to uncover the truth behind his tragic demise. Early life. Paul Murdaugh was born into a life of privilege and entitlement, growing up in the lap of luxury in the sprawling estates of the South Carolina Lowcountry. Born on April 14, 1999, he was just a junior student at the University of South Carolina when his life was cut short on June 7, 2021. His family's wealth and status meant he was afforded every opportunity and indulgence, from the finest schools to exotic vacations and expensive hobbies. But behind the facade of a perfect life, dark secrets lurked. Paul's upbringing was marred by several scandalous incidents, including brushes with the law, rumors of drug use, and whispers of family secrets that threatened to destroy his carefully crafted image. Despite his privileged upbringing, Paul struggled to find his place in the world. As he entered adulthood, he became increasingly reckless and unpredictable, leaving many wondering what path he would choose. Murdaugh family's legal ties. The prestigious law firm Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Ellsworth, and Detrick, PM-PED, was once a beacon of excellence in the South Carolina legal community. But beneath the firm's esteemed reputation lay a dark family legacy of scandal and intrigue. Paul Murdaugh, a scion of the Murdaugh clan and heir to the firm's name, seemed destined for greatness. However, his life was cut tragically short when he and his mother were murdered in their home in Islandton, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community.
The other theory was that this was somehow related to the boat crash. Somebody wanted justice that they didn't think they would get in the courts in relation to the boat crash.
Did you kill Maggie or Paul Murdaugh?
No.
As investigators worked tirelessly to solve the case, rumors circulated that the culprit may have been closer to home than anyone imagined. Eventually, the truth came to light, and Paul's father, Alex Murdaugh, was charged with the gruesome crime.
Did Alex ever try to hire you as a hitman?
No. People magazine, which cited unnamed law enforcement sources, claimed that Maggie and Alex did not have a good relationship and they were going to get a divorce. And she was consulting with an out-of-town attorney.
Were there any problems in Maggie and Alex's marriage?
Absolutely none. None. And trust me, I was with them for almost 2 years. Always affectionate, always courteous, just a picture of a domestic bliss.
With the Murdaugh name tarnished, the firm has rebranded as Peters, Parker, Ellsworth, and Detrick, PPED. But the shadow of the family's past still lingers. Meanwhile, as the investigation continues, the question remains: what other dark secrets might lurk within the Murdaugh family's history? Thrilled by these revelations? There's more if you subscribe to join us in exploring the lives of history's most infamous criminals. We dive deep into their motivations and circumstances that led to their crimes. Paul Murdaugh's romantic life. Morgan Louise Doughty is said to have been Paul Murdaugh's girlfriend at one point, and it is said that the two had a love relationship. It is reasonable to deduce that Paul and Morgan Louise Doughty became engaged sometime in the first half of 2017. Morgan Louise Doughty started dating Baden Bostic shortly after the accusation that Paul Murdaugh was responsible for the death of his friend by throwing him overboard and drowning him. Just when you think you have the case figured out, a shocking twist threatens to upend everything you thought you knew. In the Hollywood adaptation of this crime story into a true crime series, it becomes clear that there is more to this story than meets the eye. Dark secrets are revealed, alliances are tested, and the line between justice and vengeance becomes increasingly blurred. Don't miss a moment of the Murdoch Murders documentary as we cover the details of the docuseries. Alex Murdaugh's homicide. The trial of Alex Murdaugh for the brutal murders of his own son and wife sent shockwaves through the South Carolina Lowcountry as the gruesome details emerged. As the trial commenced on January 23, 2023, the tension in the courtroom was obvious. The Attorney General wasted no time announcing the charges against the defendants: 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of weapon possession during the commission of a violent crime. The victims, Paul and Maggie Murdaugh, were found on the family estate, their bodies riddled with multiple gunshot wounds. The killer had used not 1, but 2 different firearms to carry out the heinous act. As the evidence mounted, it became increasingly clear that the family patriarch may have been involved in the brutal slayings, despite his vehement denials. Would justice be served for the innocent victims, or would the killer escape the consequences of his heinous crimes? Ultimately, Alex Murdaugh, the father, was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Judge Clifton Newman said at the trial, "I don't believe that he hated his wife, and I certainly did not believe that he did not love his son, but he committed the unforgivable, unimaginable crime, and there's no way that he'll be able to sleep peacefully." The courtroom waited with bated breath for the truth to be revealed. Mallory Beach Incident.
911, where's your emergency?
We're in a boat crash on Arthur's Creek. There's 6 of us and 1 is missing.
Okay, who's missing?
Female Mallory Beach is missing.
Who was driving the boat? You all know Alex Murdoch. That's his son. Good luck.
In February 2019, Paul Murdaugh's life took a dark turn. He was suspected of operating a vessel under the influence of drugs or alcohol, leading to the tragic crash that claimed the life of 19-year-old Mallory Beach.
At 2:20 a.m., the Garmin recorded the boat slowing down and then speeding up. Seconds later, the Garmin shows the boat coming to an abrupt stop when it struck a piling over here at Archer's Creek Bridge.
What bridge is it? Paul, what bridge is this? I don't even want to stop.
Where's everybody else at? At the bridge, at the bottom of the bridge. We're still missing 1. What's her name? Mallory Beach. Is her?
Bro, you smiling like funny. My girlfriend gone, folks.
You all know Alex Murdoch. Oh, yeah, I know that name. That's his son. That's so good luck.
Despite maintaining his innocence, questions were raised about handling the case, as the Murdaugh family's connections to the legal system raised suspicions of potential favoritism. The case dragged on for almost 2 years as Paul awaited trial while out on his recognizance, but tragedy struck again just when it seemed like the truth would finally be revealed. Paul and his mother were found dead in their family's hunting lodge, leaving the community in shock and mourning. As members of the Beach family expressed their condolences to the Murdaughs, many wondered if the secrets that had plagued Paul's life had finally caught up with him in a deadly way. Murdoch Murders. The Murdoch Murders documentary is a gripping true crime series adaptation of this actual life crime. The documentary opens with a chilling introduction to the Murdaugh family and the victims whose lives were senselessly cut short, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community. As the investigation unfolds, the suspense builds, drawing you deeper into the intricate web of clues, suspects, and motives. You'll witness firsthand the tireless efforts of law enforcement as they piece together the evidence, interview witnesses, and follow leads in a desperate race against time to catch the killer. But the mystery only deepens as the documentary explores the complex web of family secrets, psychological profiles, and legal maneuvers that lurk behind the tragedy. It's a powerful reminder of the devastating impact of violent crimes on families and communities, and a tribute to the courage and tenacity of those who seek justice in the face of unspeakable tragedy. The docuseries filmmakers take. The creators of the film Murdoch Murders reminisced about the beginning of the project during an interview with Vanity Fair. Production on the film began in the autumn of 2021, after Alex called 911 to report the murder of his wife Maggie and son Paul, which he is currently standing trial for and maintaining his innocence over. This transpired after Alex had made the call. Before this, Alex had been fired from the law practice his family owned for allegedly mismanaging many millions of dollars. In addition, he was rumored to have been shot in the head by an earlier customer, but this customer has categorically denied involvement. Alex admitted that he had asked the other man to conduct the murder so his son could collect the proceeds from his life insurance policy. At that time, he apologized to his family, friends, and acquaintances and entered a drug rehabilitation program. The filmmakers described the incident and its aftermath as evidence of the Murdaugh family's arrogance and customary ability to bend the law to achieve their goals. Following the accident, Paul was not detained in any way, nor was his phone taken to use as evidence in any proceeding. In the documentary series, people who survived the crash assert that Alex spent the time after the accident attempting to arrange their testimonies and points fault away from his son.
Alex reportedly went from room to room to try to communicate with the other boat crash passengers and get them all on the same page.
A hospital security guard said he overheard Alex Murdoch on his cell phone say, "She's gone, don't worry."
I think that from day one, ground zero, the effort was, what can we do to get Paul out of it? How can we create a cloud of confusion and say, can you prove who was driving the boat?
Alex's son was the driver of the vehicle that crashed. The Murdaugh family tragedy has left us all in shock. What seemed like an idyllic family home in the small town was tragically shattered by the horrific acts of one of its own. The cruel and senseless acts of Alex Murdaugh forever changed the life of the Murdaughs. Paul and Maggie Murdaugh's lives were taken too soon. The public wishes Alex Murdaugh himself to serve a life sentence without parole. We can only hope that this tragedy will serve as a reminder of the importance of being careful. It is quite unfortunate that the safety of the masses has dwindled over the years, for now more than ever. The perpetrators are from within, not the burglars we fear will break into our homes. Dark times loom over us. This documentary has been a challenging but necessary journey for us all. We hope that by exploring the events leading up to and following the Murdaugh's deaths, we have paid respect to their memories, however undeserving they may be, since the victims have a hand in some past murders. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of victim Paul, and to the family relations who still care and associate with the names of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh. Since we're at the conclusive part of the Paul Murdaugh homicide, we'd like to give you a chance to watch an intriguing video that sheds light on one of history's greatest mysteries. In a video uploaded earlier, we examined the notorious unsolved case of the unidentified serial killer who terrorized London's Whitechapel district in the late 19th century. The video delves into the evidence and theories surrounding the case, exploring the killer's identity, motives, and possible explanations for his heinous crimes.